Okay. Okay. Welcome to ESA. Timing starts when the screen fades, so I can just tell you everything's ready. Okay. And go. So, the category is any percent inbounds and done on challenge mode, which is the old challenge mode, which gives you the 2 dashes right at the beginning of the run. Because the game got an update a while ago that put in a new challenge mode which got rid of all upgrades. And that's the boss, by the way. First one out of the way. But yeah, in the new challenge mode, you start the game with 1 health and no upgrades whatsoever, except for the heat resist suit. So in the old challenge mode, you have 10 health for the entire run, and you have the H boost and the V boost, so you can dash in every direction. So yeah, for anybody that isn't familiar with this game, which probably is a lot of people because this is like a random indie game, it's a Metroidvania in the style of Super Metroid and all those games. Go around collecting upgrades, and killing bosses. So right there we went over and got a double jump. Those worms are also really random. Like, you can never tell out of which hole they come out of. And also, I just want to point out that this run got a really new route like a week ago. So I'm gonna do a bit of a different route because the new route is totally not marathon safe in the slightest. So we'll see how the safe version of that pans out. So this is the first difference. If you were to do the actually fast route, you wouldn't come over here just yet at all. Because we're right now on the way to get the hook shot, which you technically only need once in the entire run. But it makes it a little bit, actually quite a lot easier if you get it now. This is another boss here. There's quite a few random elements to this boss as well, like the head might spin a different direction at the start and he also spins at different speeds. And also it's random which terminal spawns at the second phase here. It can either be the left one or the right one. And it's actually good RNG to get the left one to spawn first. It's a pretty smooth boss fight actually. So there's a little preview of the hook shot right there. Oops. I'm actually gonna grab this health here, just to be safe. And right here, I'm gonna just pay this room a really quick visit just to activate the teleporter that's in that room for later use. And in this room, we're gonna get the teleport card, which is gonna give us access to those teleporters later on in the run. Right there. Those red blocks can only be destroyed by dashing through them, so you need to have the dashes to get through there. Oops. It's a little bit awkward now, actually. So this is the part where in the new route you wouldn't have hookshot at all, so you would have to swim in this little sand pit here with the worm. And it's actually a lot harder than it sounds because the worm's quite random. So a lot of runs are going to die in there in the new route. In this screen, there's a little trick here because your dash resets when you go through screens like this, so you can actually just double dash up here. And this is where the new route comes into play. Maybe, if I can get the trick. There we go. So what I just got is a teleporter storage, and it's a frame perfect trick. So what you do is you have to shoot and use the teleporter at the same time, like on the same frame, and then use your map key a frame afterwards, after those inputs. And now if I were to jump when I don't have a double jump active or available, it would get rid of storage, and if I shoot also when I don't have auto jump held down, it would also get rid of storage. And what this is gonna let me do later is just go teleport into whatever teleporter room I want without actually being at a teleporter. So it'll skip a lot of rooms actually later on in a little bit. So right here, all I'm gonna do is get the charge shot, which is gonna let me do a lot more damage to the last boss, and then it's gonna teleport away with teleporter storage. It's a little finicky with the inputs, there we go. So doing teleporter storage right after charge shot lets me skip one boss. And there's actually another boss right in this room that, again, we're just gonna skip. We're gonna activate power with this terminal, and then we're just gonna port out and not fight that boss at all. And also because I teleported out when I use the terminal, I also have text storage up right now, which this is the text box that would activate the power in the power station. But now that I skip the text boxes afterwards, the doors that I just went through are open, when otherwise they would be closed entirely. I might die actually in a little bit. I have to play this a little safe. Pretty low health. Go. Now this segment, up up until the next boss is what used to be the hardest part in the entire game, or the run rather, just because of the few technical inputs and stuff that you have to do. But with teleporter storage, it's changed a little bit now. I mean, it's still really hard to execute, but it's not that bad in comparison. In particular, this next room I'm gonna go into is really hard to do well. As you can see. Yeah, that's acid, by the way, and acid kills you really quickly in this game. You have to just take a swim. And this is just one of those rooms where if you mess up once, it's just, you're bound to do it again. That's just bad timing. That's actually unlucky, which is what that is. Yeah, so that's what that's supposed to look like, if you actually play well. Like I said, this is just one of those games where if you mess up once, you're just gonna keep messing up all the time. It's really hard to do good recoveries in this run. That was unnecessarily risky. I honestly don't know why I did that. Second to last boss fight here, and I don't actually have to shoot him at all myself. This is one of those boss fights where the boss has to kill itself. So we just dodge him a bunch of times. The trigger to make him jump there is me jumping, so I just kind of mistimed that. Oh. Normally with these big balls like here, you're not supposed to be able to get him in one bounce like that. But with a vertical dash, you can just dash over him really quickly like this. And now all that's left is doing the final boss. And that's the only reason why you actually need that hook shot in here, just to clip through those platforms right there. It's not actually required for any of the rest of the run. So this is the last boss fight. It has 3 phases to it. First one's not a problem whatsoever, but the next 2 can be... Well, even the next one isn't that big of a deal. It can sometimes mess you up with the pathing that it does. But the last one is just a pile of randomness, and it tends to mess me over a lot. So hopefully that goes well. Yeah, so it's random which hand moves first, and it's also random how fast the hand activates. I'm gonna play this a little safe, actually, just to be sure. Oh. There we go. And time is coming up in just a little bit, and that's the final boss. Ihan good. And time. Yeah, and that's ESA for you. It's a really neat Metroidvania game. You can find it on Steam. It's pretty cheap. I would recommend it to everybody. Made by a Finnish dev who's actually a really cool guy. The speedrun community for this game has had some good quality chats with him. I would highly recommend playing this game and checking it out. But yeah, that's it.